In this video, we'll be exploring The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F by Mark Manson, a book that will change everything you know about self-improvement. Each lesson is a mind-bending insight that you won't find in any other self-help book. So make sure you pay attention to all of them if you want to unlock your full potential and become the best version of yourself. Mark Manson begins by introducing the backward law, which was inspired by Alan Watts. This law states that the more you pursue feeling good all the time, the less satisfied you become with what you have. Think about it. How often do you stress about not being happy enough? How often do you feel guilty for being sad or angry? This constant pressure to be positive can lead to what psychologists call meta-emotions, which is when you feel bad about feeling bad. It's like being stuck in a hamster wheel of dissatisfaction, always chasing after the next high but never quite catching it. Manson illustrates this with a simple example. Imagine you're at a party, trying hard to have a good time. The more you focus on having fun, the more self-conscious you become, and the less fun you have. On the other hand, if you just relax and let things unfold naturally, you're more likely to enjoy yourself. This backward law applies in many areas of life. The more you obsess over your appearance, the more insecure you feel. The harder you try to impress others, the more needy you appear. The more desperately you seek love, the more you push it away. It's a cruel irony that our efforts to improve our lives often backfire. When you're always striving for more, you're subconsciously telling yourself that what you have isn't enough. This creates a gap between your expectations and reality, which leads to depression and frustration. When you believe you should always feel good, normal human emotions like sadness, anger, or fear become unacceptable. You start to see these feelings as problems to be fixed rather than natural parts of the human experience. The most meaningful moments in life often come from overcoming difficulties. Whether it's the satisfaction of achieving a goal after months of hard work, the depth of a relationship that's weathered tough times, or the personal growth that comes from facing your fears. By accepting that life will have ups and downs, you can focus on what truly matters to you, even if it comes with pain and struggles. Mark Manson explains that the main cause of regret is when our ambitions aren't aligned with our values. He provides a framework for distinguishing between good and bad values. Good values are reality-based, socially constructive, and immediately controllable. Bad values, on the other hand, are superstitious, socially destructive, and not immediately controllable. For instance, honesty is a good value because it's based in reality, benefits society, and you can control it right now. Fame, however, is a bad value because it's often based on fantasy, can be socially destructive, and isn't directly within your control. Someone who values honesty might face short-term discomfort when telling the truth, but they'll likely build stronger relationships and feel more authentic. In contrast, someone who values fame might make decisions that compromise their integrity or well-being in pursuit of recognition that may never come. Manson uses the story of hero Onoda, a Japanese soldier who continued fighting World War II for 27 years after it ended, to illustrate the power of values. Onoda's unwavering commitment to his mission showcases how strongly held values can drive behavior, even when they're no longer serving us or aligned with reality. So how do we identify and change our values? It starts with self-reflection. Ask yourself, what do I truly care about? What kind of person do I want to be? Are my current values helping me become that person? This process can be uncomfortable, as it often means confronting long-held beliefs and potentially disappointing others who share those values. Once you've identified your core values, the next step is aligning your actions with them. This might require you to make tough decisions, like leaving a high-paying job that doesn't fulfill you or ending relationships that don't support your growth. But when your actions align with your true values, you'll naturally feel more fulfilled and content. You'll make decisions with clarity and purpose, rather than being influenced by external pressures or fleeting desires. Manson also encourages us to question the foundations of our values. Many people unconsciously adopt values from their parents, society, or media without questioning whether they truly serve them. Questioning your beliefs is essential for personal growth and building stronger relationships. When you acknowledge that you might be wrong, you become more open to learning and growth. This mindset allows you to approach situations with curiosity rather than judgment. It enables you to have more meaningful conversations and build stronger connections with others, even those who hold different views. Living comfortably with uncertainty might seem challenging at first. We were taught that confidence means being sure of ourselves all the time. But true confidence comes from being okay with not knowing everything. True confidence is having the courage to say, "I don't know," and the curiosity to seek out new information. Embracing uncertainty can lead to surprising benefits. It can reduce stress by relieving the pressure to always be right. It can improve decision-making by allowing us to consider multiple perspectives. And it can foster creativity by encouraging us to explore new ideas and possibilities. In relationships, this approach can work wonders. Imagine how different your conversations might be if you approach them with genuine curiosity instead of a need to prove your point. When you're not fixated on being right, you become a better listener, a better partner, and a better person overall. Keeping an open mind is the best way to maintain perspective. You can even apply that same mindset to any setback or failure. While we're often taught to see failure as something to be ashamed of, Manson argues that it is actually one of our greatest teachers. When things go smoothly, we rarely stop to analyze what we did right. But when we fail, we're forced to confront our mistakes, reassess our approach, and find new solutions. This process of trial and error is how we develop resilience, creativity, and problem-solving skills. Thomas Edison reportedly failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter manuscript was rejected by multiple publishers before becoming a global phenomenon. These stories aren't just feel-good anecdotes. They're powerful reminders that failure is often a necessary step on the path to success. Manson introduces the do-something principle as a practical way to overcome the fear of failure. This principle suggests that action isn't just the effect of motivation, but also the cause of it. Instead of waiting for inspiration or perfect conditions, Manson encourages us to take action, even if it's small. This creates a positive feedback loop. Action leads to inspiration, which leads to more action. Imagine you want to start a business, but you're paralyzed by the fear of failure. The do-something principle would encourage you to take one small step, like researching your market or sketching out a business plan. This action, no matter how small, can generate momentum and motivation, pushing you forward despite your fears. Embracing failure helps you see failure as a natural process of growth. This mindset shift allows you to take more risks, be more innovative, and ultimately achieve more success. Instead of dwelling on the disappointment, ask yourself, what did I learn from this experience? How did it make me stronger or more knowledgeable? Make it a habit to reflect on your mistakes instead of regretting them. Unfortunately, entitlement is a dangerous mindset that has gone viral in today's society. As Mark Manson puts it, entitlement is the expectation that good things should come easily, simply because we exist. Entitlement whispers in your ears that you're special and that you deserve more than others. When you feel entitled to happiness, you become less likely to put in the effort required to create it. Manson identifies two types of entitlement that plague society. The first is grandiose narcissism, the belief that you're superior to others and deserve special treatment. It's the "I'm amazing, and the world should recognize it" mentality. The second is victim narcissism, the belief that, because you've been wronged or feel inferior, you deserve special treatment. It's the "I've been through a lot so the world owes me" mindset. Both forms of entitlement can manifest in subtle ways. For example, have you ever felt frustrated when your social media post didn't get enough likes? That's entitlement. Or maybe you felt resentful when a colleague got a promotion you thought you deserved. Entitlement again. Even something as simple as getting angry in traffic because other drivers aren't behaving the way you think they should is also entitlement. The real danger of entitlement is that it creates unrealistic expectations about life and happiness. When these expectations inevitably fall short, you feel cheated, unhappy, and frustrated. It's a vicious cycle that keeps you stuck in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction. So how do you break free from this entitlement trap? The answer might surprise you. Manson suggests that the antidote to entitlement is responsibility. By taking full responsibility for your lives, your choices, your problems, your happiness, you regain control. You stop waiting for the world to make you happy and start creating your happiness. This shift from entitlement to responsibility is crucial for your well-being. When you accept that you're not entitled to happiness, but rather responsible for creating it, you instantly become empowered. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as an active creator in your reality. Mark Manson's concept of radical responsibility takes this idea even further. He argues that we should take responsibility not just for our actions, but for everything that happens in our lives. This might sound extreme, but it's a powerful mindset shift that can lead to personal growth and empowerment. At first glance, this idea of radical responsibility might seem unfair. After all, we can't control everything that happens to us, right? But Manson makes an important distinction between responsibility and fault. Being responsible for something doesn't mean you're to blame for it. Instead, it means you're choosing to respond to it. If you get stuck in traffic and arrive late for work, you're not at fault for the traffic jam, but you are responsible for how you handle the situation. You could choose to get stressed and angry, or you could use the time to listen to an audiobook or plan your day. The traffic is beyond your control, but how you react to it is entirely up to you. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you start to see yourself as the author of your own life story. Even in difficult situations, you have the power to choose your response. Every challenge becomes an opportunity for growth and learning. If you're having conflicts with a coworker, instead of blaming them for being difficult, you could ask yourself, what can I do to improve this situation? Maybe you need to communicate more clearly, or perhaps you need to set better boundaries. By taking responsibility, you regain control and open up new possibilities for resolution. The same principle applies to personal goals. Let's say you want to get in shape but struggle to find time for exercise. Instead of blaming your busy schedule, you could take responsibility for your health and look for creative solutions. Maybe you could wake up 30 minutes earlier or incorporate exercise into your commute by cycling to work. When you stop blaming external factors for your problems, you start to see opportunities for change and growth that you might have missed before. Of course, adopting this mindset takes practice. It's natural to fall back into patterns of blame and victimhood when things get tough. But each time you choose to take responsibility, you're building a habit of empowerment. Over time, this builds resilience and better problem-solving skills and grants you more control over your life. Another important lesson from the subtle art of not giving an F is the art of setting boundaries. Think about the last time you agreed to something you didn't want to do. Maybe it was attending a social event when you needed rest, or taking on extra work when you were already overwhelmed. How did that decision make you feel? Chances are, it left you feeling drained, frustrated, or even resentful. This tendency to overcommit stems from a deep-seated fear of rejection. You fear that saying no will make people like you less or think you're selfish. Ironically, saying yes to please others actually pushes them away. Setting clear boundaries, on the other hand, leads to more authentic connections. When you're honest about your preferences, you create space for genuine interactions. Imagine telling a friend you can't make their party because you need a quiet night in. While they might be disappointed initially, your honesty allows for a real conversation about your needs and strengthens your friendship in the long run. The ability to say no is equally powerful in professional settings. But how do we say no effectively? Manson suggests being direct and respectful. Instead of making excuses or over-explaining, simply state your decision clearly. For example, I appreciate the offer, but I'm not able to take that on right now. Remember, you don't owe anyone a lengthy justification for your choices. Practice is key when it comes to setting boundaries. Start small by saying no to minor requests that don't align with your priorities. As you become more comfortable, you'll find it easier to maintain boundaries in more significant areas of your life. Finally, the most shocking lesson Mason shares in his powerful book is to confront our mortality. Manson profoundly states that accepting our temporary existence can be a catalyst for genuine transformation. Have you ever considered how different your life will be once you embrace the fact that your time on Earth is limited? This perspective challenges you to reconsider how you live your life in the present moment. Imagine waking up every day fully aware that your time is limited. How would this change your priorities? What would you do differently? Manson believes that this awareness of mortality brings clarity and clairvoyance. Randy Pausch, for example, was a computer science professor who gave his famous last lecture after being diagnosed with terminal cancer. Facing his mortality head-on, Pausch didn't retreat into despair. Instead, he used his limited time to reflect on what truly mattered. sharing profound life lessons that inspired millions. His experience illustrates how confronting death can lead to a more purposeful and impactful life. Accepting your mortality motivates you to pursue more meaningful goals and to live more authentically. But you don't need a terminal diagnosis to benefit from this mindset. Manson encourages us to regularly contemplate our mortality as a tool for personal growth. It's about asking yourself, if I knew I only had a year left, what would I change about my life? This exercise can reveal misalignments between our values and our actions, prompting us to make necessary changes. A lot of your worries and conflicts become insignificant when you zoom out and consider the brevity of life. But embracing mortality doesn't mean living in constant fear or morbid obsession. It's about using death as a motivator to live more fully. When you accept that your time is limited, you're more likely to take risks, express your feelings, and pursue your passions without fear of judgment or failure. This perspective can also transform our relationships. It teaches you to appreciate the present moment and the people in it. Knowing that our time with loved ones is finite can inspire us to resolve conflicts, express gratitude more often, and prioritize quality time together. Remember that true happiness isn't about constant positivity. It's about embracing life's challenges and finding meaning in the struggles we choose. By choosing your battles wisely and taking responsibility for your choices, you will surely find a deeper, more authentic sense of fulfillment. That concludes the summary of this wonderful book. If you enjoyed this video, comment on the timestamp of your favorite lesson. Also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more insightful videos like these. See you in the next one.